Well, hello, everybody. So glad to be with you today. My name is Mary Hollingsworth, and I hope you enjoy the reading of God's Word. I'll be reading from Deuteronomy, chapters 32 through 34. So join me now. I'll actually be starting with verse 30 of the chapter before. So Moses recited this entire song publicly to the assembly of Israel. Listen, O heavens, and I will speak. Hear, O earth, the words that I say. Let my teaching fall on you like rain. Let my speech settle like dew. Let my words fall like rain on tender grass, like gentle showers on young plants. I will proclaim the name of the Lord. How glorious is our God! He is the rock. His deeds are perfect. Everything he does is just and fair. He is a faithful God who does no wrong. How just and upright he is. But they have acted corruptly toward him. When they act so perversely, are they really his children? They are a deceitful and twisted generation. Is this the way you repay the Lord, you foolish and senseless people? Isn't he your God who created you? Has he not made you and established you? Remember the days of long ago. Think about the generations past. Ask your father, and he will inform you. Inquire of your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High assigned lands to the nations, when he divided up the human race, he established the boundaries of the peoples according to the number in his heavenly court. For the people of Israel belong to the Lord. Jacob is his special possession. He found them in a desert land, in an empty, howling wasteland. He surrounded them and watched over them. He guarded them as he would guard his own eyes. Like an eagle that rouses her chicks and hovers over her young, so he spread his wings to take them up and carried them safely on his pinions. The Lord alone guided them. They followed no foreign god. He let them ride over the highlands and feast on the crops of the fields. He nourished them with honey from the rock and olive oil from the stony ground. He fed them yogurt from the herd and milk from the flock, together with the fat of lambs. He gave them choice rams from Bashan and goats, together with the choicest wheat. You drank the finest wine made from the juice of grapes. But Israel soon became fat and unruly. The people grew heavy, plump, and stuffed. Then they abandoned the God who had made them. They made light of the rock of their salvation. They stirred up his jealousy by worshiping foreign gods. They provoked his fury with detestable deeds. They offered sacrifices to demons, which are not God, to gods they had not known before, to new gods only recently arrived, to gods their ancestors had never feared. You neglected the rock who had fathered you. You forgot the God who had given you birth. The Lord saw this and drew back, provoked to anger by his own sons and daughters. He said, I will abandon them, then see what becomes of them. For they are a twisted generation, children without integrity. They have roused my jealousy by worshiping things that are not God. They have provoked my anger with their useless idols. Now I will rouse their jealousy through people who are not even a people. I will provoke their anger through the foolish Gentiles. For my anger blazes forth like fire and burns to the depths of the grave. It devours the earth and all its crops, and ignites the foundations of the mountains. I will heap disasters upon them and shoot them down with my arrows. I will weaken them with famine, burning fever, and deadly disease. I will send the fangs of wild beasts and poisonous snakes that glide in the dust. Outside, the sword will bring death, and inside, terror will strike both young men and young women, both infants and aged. I would have annihilated them, wiping out even the memory of them. But I feared the taunt of Israel's enemy, who might misunderstand and say, "Our own power has triumphed. The Lord had nothing to do with this." But Israel is a senseless nation. The people are foolish, without understanding. Oh, that they were wise and could understand this. Oh, that they might know their fate. How could one person chase 1,000 of them, and two people put 10,000 to flight, unless their rock had sold them, unless the Lord had given them up? But the rock of our enemies is not our rock, as even they recognize. Their vine grows from the vine of Sodom, from the vineyards of Gomorrah. Their grapes are poison, and their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the venom of serpents, the deadly poison of cobras. The Lord says, "Am I not storing up these things, sealing them away in my treasury? I will take revenge. I will pay them back. In due time their feet will slip. Their day of disaster will arrive, and their destiny will overtake them." Indeed, the Lord will give justice to his people, and he will change his mind about his servants when he sees their strength is gone and no one is left, slave or free. Then he will ask, "Where are their gods, the flocks they fled to for refuge? Where now are these gods, who ate the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their offerings? Let those gods arise and help you. Let them provide you with shelter. Look now, I myself am he. There is no other God but me. I am the one who kills and gives life. I am the one who wounds and heals. No one can be rescued from my powerful hand. Now I raise my hand to heaven and declare, as surely as I live, when I sharpen my flashing sword and begin to carry out justice, I will take revenge on my enemies and repay those who reject me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword will devour flesh, the blood of the slaughtered and the captives, and the heads of the enemy leaders. Rejoice with him, you heavens, and let all of God's angels worship him. Rejoice with his people, you nations, and let all the angels be strengthened in him. For he will avenge the blood of his servants. He will take revenge against his enemies. He will repay those who hate him and cleanse the land for his people. So Moses came with Joshua son of Nun and recited all the words of this song to the people. When Moses had finished reciting all these words to the people of Israel, he added, "Take to heart all the words of warning I have given you today. Pass them on as a command to your children, so they will obey every word of these instructions. These instructions are not empty words. They are your life. By obeying them, you will enjoy a long life in the land you will occupy when you cross the Jordan River." That same day, the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Moab, to the mountains east of the river, and climb Mount Nebo, which is across from Jericho. Look out across the land of Canaan, the land I am giving to the people of Israel as their own special possession. Then you will die there on the mountain. You will join your ancestors just as Aaron, your brother, died on Mount Hor and joined his ancestors. For both of you betrayed me with the Israelites at the waters of Meribah at Kadesh and the wilderness of Zin. You failed to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel there. So you will see the land from a distance, but you may not enter the land I am giving to the people of Israel." Chapter 33. This is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, gave to the people of Israel before his death. The Lord came from Mount Sinai and dawned upon us from Mount Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran and came from Meribah Kadesh, with flaming fire at his right hand. Indeed, he loves his people, and his holy ones are in his hands. They follow in his steps and accept his teaching. Moses gave us the Lord's instruction, the special possession of the people of Israel. The Lord became king in Israel when the leaders of the people assembled, when the tribes of Israel gathered as one. Moses said this about the tribe of Reuben: "Let the tribe of Reuben live and not die out, though they are few in number." Moses said this about the tribe of Judah: "O Lord, hear the cry of Judah and bring them together as a people. Give them strength to defend their cause. Help them against their enemies." Moses said this about the tribe of Levi: "O Lord, you have given your Thummim and Urim, the sacred lots, to your faithful servants the Levites. You put them to the test at Massah and struggled with them at the waters of Meribah. The Levites obeyed your word and guarded your covenant. They were more loyal to you than to their own parents. They ignored their relatives and did not acknowledge their own children. They teach your regulations to Jacob. They give your instructions to Israel. They present incense before you and offer whole burnt offerings on the altar. Bless the ministry of the Levites, O Lord, and accept all the work of their hands. Hit their enemies where it hurts the most. Strike down their foes so they never rise again." Moses said this about the tribe of Benjamin: "The people of Benjamin are loved by the Lord and live in safety beside him. He surrounds them continuously and preserves them from every harm." Moses said this about the tribes of Judah: Joseph: "May their land be blessed by the Lord with the precious gift of dew from the heavens and water from beneath the earth, with the rich fruit that grows in the sun and the rich harvest produced each month, with the finest crops of the ancient mountains, and the abundance from the everlasting hills, with the best gifts of the earth and its bounty, and the favor of the one who appeared in the burning bush. May these blessings rest on Joseph's head, crowning the brow of the prince among his brothers. Joseph has the majesty of a young bull. He has the horns of a wild ox. He will gore distant nations, driving them to the ends of the earth. This is my blessing for the multitudes of Ephraim and the thousands of Manasseh." Moses said this about the tribes of Zebulun and Issachar: "May the people of Zebulun prosper in their travels. May the people of Issachar prosper at home in their tents. They summon the people to the mountain to offer proper sacrifices there. They benefit from the riches of the sea and the hidden treasures in the sand." Moses said this about the tribe of Gad: "Blessed is the one who enlarges Gad's territory. Gad is poised there like a lion to tear off an arm or a head." The people of Gad took the best land for themselves. A leader's share was assigned to them. When the leaders of the people were assembled, they carried out the Lord's justice and obeyed his regulations for Israel. Moses said this about the tribe of Dan: "Dan is a lion's cub, leaping out from Bashan." Moses said this about the tribe of Naphtali: "O Naphtali, you are rich in favor and full of the Lord's blessings. May you possess the west and the south." Moses said this about the tribe of Asher: "May Asher be blessed above other sons. May he be esteemed by his brothers. May he bathe his feet in olive oil. May the bolts of your gates be of iron and bronze. May you be secure all your days. There is no one like the God of Israel. He rides across the heavens to help you, across the skies in majestic splendor. The eternal God is your refuge, and his everlasting arms are under you. He drives out the enemy before you. He cries out, "Destroy them!" So Israel will live in safety, prosperous Jacob in security, in a land of grain and new wine, while the heavens drop down dew. How blessed you are, O Israel! Who else is like you, a people saved by the Lord? He is your protecting shield and your triumphant sword. Your enemies will cringe before you, and you will stomp on their backs. Chapter 34. 34. Then Moses went up to Mount Nebo from the plains of Moab and climbed Pisgah Peak, which is across from Jericho. And the Lord showed him the whole land, from Gilead as far as Dan, all the land of Naphtali, the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah, extending to the Mediterranean Sea, the Negev, the Jordan Valley with Jericho, the city of palms, as far as Zoar. Then the Lord said to Moses, "This is the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, when I said, 'I will give it to you and your descendants.' I have now allowed you to see it with your own eyes, but you will not enter the land." So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, just as the Lord had said. The Lord buried him in a valley near Beth Peor in Moab, but to this day no one knows the exact place. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyesight was clear, and he was as strong as ever. The people of Israel mourned for Moses on the plains of Moab for 30 days, until the customary period of mourning was over. Now Joshua, son of Nun, was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands on him. The people of Israel obeyed him, doing just as the Lord had commanded Moses. There has never been another prophet in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. The Lord sent him to perform all the miraculous signs and wonders in the land of Egypt against Pharaoh and all his servants and his entire land. With mighty power, Moses performed terrifying acts in the sight of all Israel.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith Global Bible Revival, where we are on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Word of God cover to cover for themselves. I'm your host, Summer Day, and with me in the studio is Mary Hollingsworth.
Hello.
Did I get that right?
You did get it right.
Woo-hoo!
Way to go.
All right, it's all downhill from here now.
Well, good. We got it wrapped up, don't we?
I love it. Well, will you just tell me a little bit about yourself? Where do you live? All the things.
All that kind of stuff. Well, Summer, I live here in the DFW Metroplex.
I love it.
I live over in the mid-cities in Bedford, Texas. And I have been a Texan all my life, but I haven't lived here all my life.
Texan all your life, but didn't know it. Okay,
That's
where were
right.
you born and raised?
I was born here in Texas, so I am a Texan by blood and by choice. But I've also lived in several other states, and I've lived overseas in New Zealand and all around. So I've had a lot of great experiences. It's been fun.
Wow, I want to unpack some of those with you today.
All right.
But the first experience I want to unpack is, what was it like being in the studio just now, reading the Bible?
Oh, well, it's intimidating always to read the Bible, I think, but it's also such a joy for me. I've served as a Bible managing editor and several different roles through the years.
So you've edited the Bible?
Well, as much as an editor does edit the Bible, you don't really edit the meaning.
Yeah.
But you
Just
do.
all the here or there.
Yeah. You have to make sure it reads right. That sort of thing.
Which version have you worked on?
Oh, I've worked on numerous ones through the years. I managed the production of Bibles by such people as John MacArthur and Max Lucado and, those kind of folks. So it's been a real joy to get to do that. So I have an incredible reverence for the Bible because I know how it's produced. I know what care is given to it when it is produced and all of that. So I love the Bible.
Okay, so you've edited the Bible. What is it you do?
Well, I've been in Christian publishing now for 39 years. So I've been here forever. I keep trying to get out, but the Lord says, no, this is where you belong. So he keeps me there, and it is my sweet spot. So I've served in several roles through the years in Christian publishing as an author myself, having numerous books published, but also as a managing editor, or some companies call it a production editor. Wow. So that just means you oversee all the people and the processes and everything that go into producing a book from the time the manuscript comes in from the author until you have printed books in the warehouse somewhere.
Wow.
So that's fun.
Wow. Well, there is one thing I know about you, and you kind of just breezed over it a little bit. You're like, oh, and I've authored just a few books. Like, how many is just a few, Mary? Like 3, 5?
Well, if you counted them all, and I try not to, it's somewhere around 150.
Oh, it's just a small number of 150 books.
Right.
I remember when you first told me that, I was like, did she say 150? Like, I didn't even think somebody could write 150 in a lifetime, girlfriend.
Well, it has been a lifetime's work, really for me, and I continue. I love to write. It is my favorite thing.
I would hope that you love to write if I did 150 books.
I do.
Do you remember them all?
Well, only if I'm looking at a list, or if I have a cabinet at home that has a first edition of each one. Yeah. So I can look at that and, I remember them. But if you ask me about something I wrote in one of them 15 years ago, I won't remember that probably.
That's amazing. Is this a thing I don't know about? Like, do you personally know anybody else who's published 150 books?
I don't really offhand, but there are others that get close. Brother Gil Beers, you probably don't know Gil, but Gil has done over 100 books himself, and he's 95 now. But he's
95. Wow.
But he's done lots of beautiful children's books and all kinds of things, commentaries and everything in between. But he's a very talented.
I mean, I kind of put this in perspective. I don't even think Dr. Seuss wrote that many books.
Probably not, But then I haven't been censored like he has either.
Well, I think you need to be a legend. Come on, Mary, 150 books. Yeah. I love it. Do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite? Oh, wow. That would be hard to say.
There's like your favorite changes every day.
I change a lot because I've done a variety of styles of books and genres of books. I've done lots of kids' books. I've done gift books. I've done nonfiction books, and I've worked on every kind of book. I was the general manager for a Bible that Zondervan did for women.
Wow.
So it depends on what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm working on right now, that's my favorite.
I love it. Whatever I'm working on at the moment. It's like whatever kid I'm talking to is my favorite.
Well, exactly.
Are you married? Do you have children?
I am not married, and I have no children except my baby books. And some of them were breech-birthed, I'm afraid.
So good. Some of them were breech-birthed. Hilarious. Well, what made you say yes to this project?
Well, as I mentioned, I love the Bible, and I think it should be read often and by everybody that we can get it into their hands.
Yeah.
I believe the Lord said that. He said, my word will not pass away. And he's a genius, of course, at putting it into every kind of format and technology that you can imagine to get it into more hands than we've ever done in the past.
Yeah. So
I take it as a great honor to be able to read the Bible, either when I'm by myself with the Lord or in front of an audience. It matters not to me. It is a great honor to read the words of the God of the universe.
Yeah. What's your experience of what happens to somebody when they read it for themselves? I think there's so many people sitting in church, stuff like that. They just never read it for themselves.
I think there's a reason why that's true to a large degree, if I may just say this. Yeah. People try to read Bibles that are above their reading level a lot. Okay. And I'm probably going to step on toes here, so just ignore me. But, for instance, the King James Version of the Bible is written on a 13th grade level. Wow. That's 1 year into college.
Yeah.
And yet the the government today says that the average American adult reads on a 4th grade level or below.
Wow.
So how can a 4th grader read a first-year college level Bible and understand it?
Yeah.
So they pick it up, they try to read it, and they just are completely overwhelmed by it.
Wow.
They don't understand it.
Yeah.
And so they put it aside. It's over their head.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, one of the greatest projects I ever got to work on was that I was one of the primary 2 editors that managed the production of the International Children's Bible. It was the first Bible ever translated on a 3rd grade reading level. So it wasn't a Bible storybook.
Yeah.
It's an actual translation. We worked with like 21 Bible
I
scholars.
think we have this one.
You probably do.
Yeah. Is it orange? Does that have
Well, maybe. It's been in a lot of different covers.
Yeah,
for
I
years.
think my daughter has it.
She probably does.
That's
But it's a
fabulous.
brilliant translation.
Yeah.
And the minute we got that one out, we began getting calls from people saying, do you have this translation in something that doesn't say children's on the front? Wow. And we realized that it spoke to lots of people, including most adults in our country.
Yeah.
So we immediately began doing a slightly sophisticated version of it. It's called the New Century Version, and it reads on a lower 4th grade level.
Wow.
So that was where my career in publishing really kind of started. I started out working on those 2 Bibles.
I've never heard of the New Century Version. Now I'm like, I got to go check that out.
Yeah, you'll like it. You'll like it. It reads well. It reads so well. It's so easy to understand, and it's just beautifully done. Both those Bibles belong to Thomas Nelson, and they produce new editions of them on a regular basis, but they're both beautiful.
So awesome. I'm going to pause you really quick.
Sure.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Mary and more right after this. Well, great job.
History infuses every part of our life. Check out my friend Rafi's show, Cleo the Muse.
And please remember, challenge the present by inquiring the past.
Right here on Zandra TV.
All this stuff. Welcome back. We're here with Mary, the author of not 1 or 2 or 3 or 10, but 150 books. That literally blows my mind.
Makes me tired thinking about it.
Makes you tired thinking about it. Well, you were sharing a version of the children's Bible you got to work on, and then the one they made for adults was called
The New Century Version.
New Century Version.
It's just a slightly sophisticated version of the same text as the International Children's Bible.
So great. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'll check that one out.
I love it. It's great.
I love it. Well, one of the questions I love asking people is just to kind of share your God journey. I don't know anything really about that about you. I don't know if you were raised in the church or...
Well, actually, yes, I was born to a family that were Christians. Mm-hmm. My dad was actually a minister, and I went to church the first time when I was 2 weeks old. So I've been in the church basically my whole life with very few hiccups along the way. Mm-hmm. It's been my great joy, really, to be a minister's daughter, and then a minister's wife, and I've also been a ministry leader, a co-leader, primarily of the music outreach ministry in 2 large churches. So I've been in ministry all my life, and that doesn't even include the Christian publishing, which has been my livelihood. But my
You're
service.
breezing past just so many things. Okay, let's go back just a hair here. Minister's daughter, and then you married a minister?
I did.
How long were you married?
Well, we were married about 12 years, but he passed away.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.